I'm starting my screaming now. That's going to pop up in about a second on my YouTube channel. I'm going to drop the link for that into the general chat. Boom, baby. There we go. All right. Now, am I still hearing you guys on my YouTube channel? I'm going to drop the link for that into the general chat. Yep. And in fact, say a couple more things. I'm listening now just to the boom, baby. There we go. Hold on a second. Okay. I'm just listening to the audio on the YouTube. Now, am I still hearing you guys?
Okay.
Channel. I'm going to drop the
testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yep, I got that coming through. So that's fabtastic. Let me drop that over on the. There is the link for the live YouTube over there. The other thing that I always do, some of you know this that have been through the online factor with me. I also drop it into the schedule every time. You know, just as soon as it's live, I'll throw the link to the thing into the schedule, so it'll always be there. And we'll talk more about all that. Okay, this is fairly smooth. And my audio sound quality is okay, right? It's feeling pretty good.
I can understand you fine.
Okay,
It's fine.
But that's a low bar, though.
Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good.
That's a low bar of the I can understand you. You know what I mean? I'm looking for that high.
We're just coming in.
You what?
We'll just have to get you a Shure SM7B.
Yeah, I'd give you like a 7 out of 10 right now, maybe a 6 or 7.
Really? What are you hearing? That where's the? You know what I mean? What's the manifestation of it? What are you getting?
I mean, you sound pretty good, but also you sound like you're using a Bluetooth mic.
That's such a coincidence. Given the Bluetooth mic, but seriously, I was getting like rando with these bad boys right here. I don't know if there's like a little short or they're getting old or you know what I mean. But I am actually, if you guys have recommendations on the right kind of mic factor, it would be awesome. And I need to make a purchase for something. And is that still Bluetooth? That Shure mic that I'm sure it's like a Shure like mic headphone combo or something that you were talking about?
No, the Shure SM7B is a radio quality mic. You need an XLR connection and an amp and all this other stuff.
Because I actually have that kind of stuff, and I have I have Shure mics. I don't know what the make and model on them is. I mean, I know the make, it's Shure, but I don't know the model number on those. And I have these really, really nice high quality Heil mics that are condenser mics. But what I need to do is set up a boom on for the boom factor, right? But you know, there's like these, I don't know, like built-in holes in my desk, you know what I mean? Like they do sometimes. So you can run cables or whatever, and then just mount a boom on that and then just bring it on in. And then, but I just gotta do that. If anybody knows, you know, if you guys know enough about that kind of stuff, you know what I mean, to quicken my my literacy, that would be fantastic. Plus, it makes you feel really cool when you're talking into the boom mic. I don't know. You feel special when that happens, right? I think true. Yes, no, it's okay. Okay, all right. So link is now in the schedule to the YouTube video, and the link is also in the chat. And I'm doing one last. We got 2 minutes to roll here. No, but so whoever was, I can't remember. I didn't look over when you were talking, but when you're talking about the audio quality, when you say it sounds like I'm on a Bluetooth, is it kind of like gurgly, or is it little interruption kinds of stuff, or
No, it just sounds. I mean, like I can understand everything that you're saying. It just sounds like you're kind of far away. Like
Okay.
probably how I sound because I'm also on a Bluetooth microphone. So.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah, you're
No,
fine.
fair enough. I mean, I actually had like literally there was one of the recordings at the end of the semester in fall, December, one of the December classes, where the audio just went like kind of crap, like the audio just really went to crap. And of course, when we're live on Discord, I'm not hearing that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like an artifact on the YouTube recording or something. But you don't want that. So it's just a constant work in progress for
That was
me.
probably just because it was 2020 and that was just how the year went itself.
It was
So
kind of a groin kick. Like 2020 is like, I will just groin kick your audio just on the way
yeah,
out, like for no reason. Because 2020 just,
it was the cherry on top.
it was exactly 20 freaking 20, man. And I've been around a long time too. I mean, I've seen some bad years. you know, you guys are all young and haven't seen that many years. I'm the old timer. Um, and I'm telling you, that was bad. That was really bad. I've seen some bad stuff, but that was bad. And I don't know that 2021 is getting off to too much, much better start at this point. Well, ish. Pretty bad, but I think it's going to calm down, I hope. We'll find out. We'll find out, right? Or perhaps not. Okay. No predictions. We can make no predictions at this point. Okay, now it's 2:31, so it's time to rock and roll. Now, so hey everybody, welcome. I'm excited, and I'll tell you why I'm excited for a couple of reasons. One, we're a pretty small section. It's an unusually small section. I think right now I'm showing like 13 students. And that's really small. So maybe the word is out. You know what I mean? The word is out about my section. The other theory I have, the other operating theory, is that the other section is taught by Lynn Thackeray, and Thackeray's great. From everything I hear, I think he's great. But his class is online and mine is streaming, which means that my class is here at a certain time, certain day, certain time, and his is more, you know what I mean, because it's online and not live streaming. It's self-paced. You think? Is that, I mean, because historically, when we were going live, Lynn's sections and my sections tended to fill up at about the same pace for this
So
class.
I can comment on this.
Yeah,
I had
please.
a meeting with Arlene, one of the counselors.
Oh, yeah.
And I had asked her about, because there's a lot of classes that don't have many people in them. She said she sent out, well, this was like a month and a half ago. She had sent out over 100 emails to students asking them if they were going to register for the next semester because they hadn't even signed up for any classes.
Of the ones who are in the system that like we'd expect them to be showing up for the next class or things like that. You're talking, right. You're talking about, these are not new recruits. These are our students that are in our program.
Yeah, in the CS program.
Yeah. And just that they hadn't yet. That's crazy. Wonder why that is. I mean, 2020, there's a lot of casualties. 2020 was just tough. You know what I mean? Anyway, it was really tough. I mean, I noticed, for example, in 2810, there's normally a failure rate in that class of about 30%. It was almost 50% in the fall. And I didn't do anything different. I mean, it wasn't, and I was way more lenient in at the end of the whole thing in terms of deadlines and things like that. But I just think that 2020 just really beat the crap out of a lot of people. All of us, frankly, at some level, right, had the crap beaten out of us. Except for the few really deep gamers who didn't really notice much different, And I know that's kind of a joke and a meme, but it's sort of also a little bit true. The real serious introverts are less affected, and the more extroverts are more emotionally impacted, and it's real. It's very real. So anyway, yeah, just a little bit of 2020 commiserating. I hope you're hanging in there. And any other comments? Just any other before we kind of dive in? Any other 2020 group therapy anybody wants to do about that?
Just happy to be here.
I'm glad to be here. I'm really glad to be here because every January I say to myself, April's not that far away. And then the summer. Yeah, man. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't sound overly cynical, you know what I mean? But we all need the break, you know what I mean? We all need it. Um, so let me tell you what we're doing here, what we're going to try to do. Oh, also, I wanted to show you, some of you, um, I want to show you what I looked like. This is more kind of by the way of personal sharing. I went into no shave, no haircut mode because I was an extra in the television series The Chosen season 2, which was being filmed in Utah during the fall semester. So if any of you were like in 2810 or something last fall, you knew a little bit about that. But then we did filming for a series of short films that we called Sad Santa Diary. And I just want you to know that this was me right about Christmas time. Now that's also with the Santa glasses thrown in for good measure, you know. So you're looking at the uh, coiffed Dr. K, and then this was another shot. These are shots from Sad Santa Diary. There's another one. I like this particular episode of Sad Santa Diary is like super cute, starring Hubert. Made the appearance in Sad Santa Diary. He's my desk mate. Anyway, just to give you a sense for the transformation, and that was only about 4 or 5 months. Like just if I don't shave or trim or get a haircut for like 5 months, starting from buzzed, that's what I turn into. It's a genetic gift. It is a genetic gift, and I don't have many, but that's one of them. So anyway, that's just a little bit of sharing. Um, what I want to do is so right now I'm only showing 13 students in this section. Now here's what that does. Let me give you good news, bad news. And I think about half of you were probably in some iteration of 2810 with me. So you kind of know a little bit what you're getting yourselves into, for better or worse. Um, and so whatever, you have only yourselves to blame. Uh, Anyway, I think there's a couple spots still available in Lynn's section if anybody wants to save yourself now. But so there were 13 that I'm showing on Canvas, okay, as enrolled in the class. And right now in the channel, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I lost my count because I'm an idiot. Hang on, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're actually only missing one in terms of who's registered and who's here now. And the TAs, Tim and Devin, who are like ghosting me right now, they probably have another class. They're going to be joining us and give you some introduction. They're TAs for this class and 305G, so that they kind of are both for both, and we just kind of blend it up. Okay, let me see. Braden, you got back on the voice. You got back on the voice channel, obviously. Um, all right. Okay. Here's the deal with 13 students. One of the things that means is that, okay, we do take attendance. And because the way that I do this class is really interactive, okay? It's super interactive. I don't really enjoy doing the talking head thing, you know? Did we just pick up another one? 3, 6, 9. No, we lost one. Somebody was like, yeah, screw this. I'm going to Lynn Thackeray. It's all good, man. So what we need to be able to do and kind of get used to, though, is the interactive. You know what I mean? Just be ready for that, which means be ready to unmute, drop in, and just plan to. If we were live, it would be the way I do all my classes, but especially this class and 305G is that there's a lot of engagement with you guys in that dynamic kind of process. Okay. So just understand that that's kind of what we're doing. Um, the other thing we do is because we do it on Discord, it is being streamed to YouTube. If you can, what I want to do kind of as a default is be here live. If you have a reason why you can't, I mean, stuff just happens, right? You get sick or whatever. You got to go have a baby, you got to whatever, stuff happens. Just let me know. And part of the reason I stream it to YouTube is so that you can, just check it out later. If you have to go back and double check things, it also helps me to kind of like, oh, I told a cool story. What was it? And I can go, look back as well and kind of have that for documentation and pulling stuff out when I'm writing articles or papers or books or things like that. So it's super helpful. The other thing, let me say this is really important, and this just relates to the FERPA paperwork idea. Since we're streaming live to YouTube, um, what you'll notice is what you're seeing on that screen on the Discord screen share. And so everybody should be, but FYI, everybody should be able to see the stream on Discord where I'm sharing it. Okay, if you're not, noodle around or even drop a comment in the general chat if you're not seeing that for some reason, and somebody else can kind of help you. I'm really comfortable with stuff going by in the general chat in real time. You know what I mean? I know some professors are maybe distracted by that or like, I hate that. To me, there are some of you that probably would never, make a verbal comment in a classroom setting. You're shy, maybe a little more introverted. But in this context, you'll drop a comment. You know what I mean, into the general text chat, or you'll drop a meme or a link to something. So that interactive experience to me is not just the voice where we can, talk, but it's also the general chat. But the general chat does not show up on the YouTube channel. What you see on the screen that I'm sharing is what is being streamed to YouTube. Okay, so your names, your handle names, the general chat stuff on the text chat, none of that is going out to YouTube. And so what I would like you to do, and Devin, who was supposed to, he'll show up sooner or later. I was working with those guys till about 4 in the morning, so they might still be, I don't know, they might be asleep for all I know. Trying to get this thing live. We were literally, the three of us were cranking till about 4 a.m. So about FERPA, the only thing that connects you to this class is a first name. And so what I want you to do is, um, on Discord, you can change if you click on yourself. Where is it? It's the little gear right on the user settings. No, where's the spot? Where's the spot for those of you that probably spend more time than I do?
Are you trying to change your own nickname?
Yeah, changing your own nickname. Where's the nickname change? I never do it, so it's not like immediately in my head.
You'd right-click on the list of servers on the left-hand side, and there's a change nickname option.
Oh, okay. So when you got that list, that column of icons, right, for the various servers that you're part of, boom, there you go. Change nickname. Exactly. Okay, thank you. What I would really appreciate it if you would do this is, and it would be great if you could do it right now. Just go over there, and it's also that change on that nickname is only the change of the nickname on this server. All your other nicknames on all your other servers remain the same. Okay, so there's no side effects going out, and just change it to whatever you want me to call you. You know what I mean? It can be your actual name. It can be your not actual name. It can be, you know, you know what I mean? Whatever. If you want to change your name to, the God King, don't. I mean, but you can, and I will call you God King. Small, lowercase g, lowercase k. Um, anyway, you know what I'm saying? So put there, and by the way, even if you put your last name, I'll never use your last name on live during class. So essentially, if I'm just like, hey, Eric, Mitch, Rick, Scott, Steve, there's no FERPA violation. You know what I mean? And so, but here's the other factor. If I make a reference I will only reference your first name or whatever you tell me that you want to be called. And if you are nervous enough, or just whatever, careful enough, nervous enough, uncomfortable with having your voice even just show up, then you're not obligated to make a verb, any verbal responses. Okay. And yeah, and Blake, if you look above you on the general text chat, the link to that is right there. Okay. If you can see that, I just saw the question about recording of the streams. You can go generically to my YouTube channel. Okay. So that's FERPA, okay? If you're at all nervous about having your voice even show up on YouTube, even anonymously, then just you're not obligated to speak, okay? And so you have the control of that. If you speak, you're basically giving permission for that your voice and that comment to stream onto YouTube, okay? Onto my channel, which is public. Okay, that's FERPA. What else? Oh, I wanted to apologize for the late breaking Canvas class, which only went up, last night, like 3 a.m. Right after New Year's. I don't know what happened exactly, but like New Year's Day, the very next day, I started experiencing vertigo. Have any of you done this? Not recommended. So, January 2nd, the room's moving like 40 miles an hour to the left. And it's basically been spinning for the past 11 days. And slowly, it's like an infinite series. It's like the speed drops in half every day. So it's been kind of like, a cruise ship at the dock with the tide for the last 3-4 days. And it's only been the last 2 days that I've actually been just able to work. I mean, because you're trying to like look at your laptop and it's going zink, 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 zink. You know what I mean? So it's just been brutal. And so I literally wasn't able until Saturday to even like start prepping for bloody semester. So I really apologize. I generally try to have my Canvas classes up earlier than that. So just so you know why that was a thing. And like I said, it's still a little moving, but I can get through it. So yeah, man. Other Devon, yeah, that's it can be worse. Well, I have 2 other classes, 2810 and 305G, that don't have anything up yet. But the class is not till tomorrow, and I'm gonna get those up tonight, even if I have to stay up all night to do it. So yeah, apologies for that. Okay, what else? Let's talk about the class, okay? What 3450 is. So you know what I'm talking about, right, Eric? I mean, it's just bad. It's really, I've never really had it like this. Never had it. So, okay, so check it out. Let's talk about the class. Let's kind of go through a little bit. I do want you to read the syllabus on your own. You got to do that anyway. You shouldn't have to be told. Is the visibility on this okay? Or should I blow it up one more pop? That's got to be a little better, right? Maybe.
Looks fine on my desktop.
All right. Anybody else I don't know if you're like on phones, right? The cool thing about Discord is you can, you know what I mean? You can do it on your smartphone. So that's actually quite nice. Yeah. And by the way, and again, so some of you that have had me like in 2810, you already know my configuration. I got a big monitor right over here. That's my sort of, that's the same monitor. Everything on that monitor is what's being streamed. So what you see here on the stream, I see it, I see it here, but I also see it there. When it's time to read the site, I wind up having to look over here just because it's too tiny to read on the little echo screen, the little mirror. Okay. So the first thing I want to just alert you to, the class schedule is right there. The link is always right there. If you go to the page, right, and you're on home, you're right there, and that's the class schedule right there. Okay. So you can kind of walk through all that. I'm going to come back to the class schedule. Okay. but you can always get to it. This is the stuff basically that I sent you in the Canvas mail, right? This part right here, including that invite. And yeah, anybody wants to watch this YouTube video, hack into our server, you know what I mean? I can basically ban them and then just eliminate, you know what I mean? Disable the invite. And so that I'm not really worried about security as far as that's concerned. And then what I have is this note that class is always streamed live to my YouTube channel. And there, my friendlies, is the link to my YouTube channel. And you can see that there's our class right now being live streamed. Okay. So there's a link there. You can also, you don't have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, you don't have to do that. And I got a spinning beach ball of death. No, no. It would not be good to have to restart Chrome, which has got, oh man. Crapo. Okay, okay, we're back. We made it. We lived. All right. Okay. So there is a link there. Okay, there's also a link when you go to the schedule. There's also a link right here at the top of the schedule. Okay, Dr. K, I'm not going to click on it now. And there's also a link to every individual lecture. Right there, you can see it's, you know, no link here because it's not Wednesday yet. And then here, that's a link to the same lecture, this lecture inside, you know, inside the channel. Okay, so I'm trying to make it really, really easy, and I drop a link into the Discord text chat. So just so you understand, I'm trying to do my best to make it really, you know, kind of idiot proof to get to the YouTube channel and to get to lectures when you need to look at them later. And again, if you'll just let me know when you've got conflicts or things happen, I'm really, really lenient when it comes to just reasonable, you know, reasonable excuses. Um, uh, you know what I mean? It's just it's kind of like a collective good faith, you know, just you, it's a mutual respect. And I'm not, you know, I'm not going to go to the nth degree, but if it's like every Wednesday, you know what I mean? There's a new creative thing, you know what I mean? Last week I was hit by a car twice, this week, you know, but really you've got a ski pass, you know, I mean, you got to work around that. Or if you've got dead conflicts that are always there at some level, you know, I've made that exception before. Like, no, just watch the YouTube every, you know, every Monday night or whatever. Just watch YouTube. Okay, so that's about that. This part here, give that a read. I'm gonna drop into this when I get into the material. You will recognize, however, Sapir and Worf. Sapir, they were both linguists. Worf went on to be an officer on the Starship Enterprise, an illustrious career. But these guys, Sapir and Worf, that is the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Same guys, which features largely in, what's the movie? Arrival? Is it Arrival? With Jeremy Renner and what's her bucket?
Yeah.
Amy, what is it? Amy
Adams.
Amy Adams, yeah. Good movie. Weird movie, but good movie. Anyway, they are Sapir and Worf of the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. And then some other things, okay, that I'll also kind of come back to. But I do want to motivate you to this idea that in this class, which I'll get to a little bit more deeply, we're dealing really with kind of two ideas, and they both relate to design. One is, let's call it design of your code, right? You can even think of that as the architecture of your code. Um, and we'll talk later about patterns, which are basically solutions to some problem in some context. So when you encounter that context, you sort of more or less know, oh, here's where I do the one trick, right? Here's where I use my hammer in this following way. And that's really all patterns are, is just solutions to a problem in a context. And sometimes those patterns get names attached to them, right? For example, I don't know, been thinking a lot about current events and civics. You know, bicameral legislation is a pattern of democracy and of a Republican, of a democratic republic, of a representative government. That is a pattern. Separation of powers is a pattern. These are patterns because they're solutions to some problem in a certain context, right? And so when we talk about the design patterns, and they are the Gang of Four, aka GOF, as we like to say, because it makes it sound like we're in the know. Um, there are 24 patterns in that book, which we're going to go through. But there are more than 24 patterns, okay, in the world. And so understanding that what the Goff patterns are, I think that's valuable literacy. And there's a level of literacy there that you ought to have to just kind of go out into your careers. But the coolest patterns truly are going to be ones that you create because you figured them out. They were your patterns that you had come across, you know what I mean, that you kind of noodled into and figured out. And so now whenever you encounter this kind of a situation, you understand these trade-offs and lead you to this cool creative solution that maybe nobody else knows about. Maybe it's just yours. And you might even have a name for it, or maybe you don't, right? But so it's important to me not just that you go gag down these 24 patterns and then regurgitate that back up, graphic, I'm sorry, but it's also really important that you understand that patterns are all around us. They're in every area of our life. Um, and that patterns relate to pattern languages, which gets us back to Christopher Alexander, who was the originator of the concept of patterns within the field of architecture. And I don't mean software architecture. I mean home building architecture, right? So it all comes out of this idea of a shared vernacular, a shared vocabulary, of a shared language. And that language allows you to say certain things. So if you say, yeah, so there's this protocol stack, and you understand the idea, the pattern of a protocol stack as an architectural pattern, then I don't have to stop, I know what that is, so I don't have to go, wait, I don't understand who does what? If I say protocol stack, the only question is, what's at the lowest level at the PHY layer and what's at the high level. And if I say Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, whatever, and IEEE something or other, Ethernet, then you know that there's differences in these layers, but you know basically how that pattern works as an architectural. Client server is another example, right? And then you get some that have more careful names like model view controller, which we'll talk about, or just, and then you get into these Goff patterns. But so in other words, there's a big part of the experience of this class is it's all about not just doing a regurgitation exercise, but getting you to understand how to see patterns, how to create them yourselves, how to mine them yourselves. Patterns come out of nature. They have names because they're good and they tend to recur. You'll talk to somebody else. Do you ever do this one thing? Oh yeah, and you'll find other people doing the same kind of thing that you discovered. Well, if we can name that, it's easier to teach it, to communicate it, right? So and that exists again in every field of study and in every aspect of life. Shoes are a pattern. Doors are patterns. Um, okay, so that's kind of why my approach is not just the regurgitation of the 24 Goff patterns, but it sort of is, but it's probably maybe more concerned that you understand more broadly where all that crap is coming from and where it's going and how you fit into the dynamic world in which patterns are part of life and perhaps nothing at all to do with Goff. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing it. But give this a look. This part right through here. You're going to wind up in a real job in the industry. Some of you already are. which is fantastic. But, you know, many of you aren't yet. This is about trying to function in this emerging real world. So we'll talk more about that, okay? And by the way, you're never going to, you know, offend me. You could, but you'd have to work at it by, you know, interrupting or dropping in and being like, yo, you know, Dr. K, can I say something? Okay, but so please, if there's any questions as we go, you can drop it in the general, again, drop it in the text chat or just interrupt on the voice chat. I really, really don't mind. And I, in fact, would prefer it, right? Let me see. I was just, in fact, looking at, let me see. Looks like Braden, did he bail? If we watch the YouTube video, we get everything. Yeah, so let me say this one's for Braden and anybody else who bailed out already. Let me see. We got 3, 6, 9. We got 10 people. For the 3 people, unless you have an excuse, if you bailed out already, unless you have an excuse, you aren't, you're not getting credit for being here today. Okay. It's part of that interactive thing. So yes, Braden, you will get everything that's covered today except for attendance, which is part of the grade. Oh, you were on campus and the Wi-Fi was giving you crap. Got it. Case in point, that's a legitimate excuse. Okay, Braden, you're excused. Don't mean to like take your name in vain there, Braden. And yeah, everything that's in the live stream will be in the video after the fact. Yes. So yeah, sorry for harassing you, Braden. I read the first line, not the second one, but those are good examples. You run into technical difficulties, just let me know. It's all good. Okay, here we go. This is the class schedule, right? Monday, Wednesday, 2:30. I want to just say one thing about, oh, I did say this over here. All of our meetings are on Discord. Um, all of the office hours are on Discord. Okay. Now I want to tell you something about what I do with office hours because I have a pattern. My preferred pattern for office hours is a little pattern that I like to call by appointment. And what that really means is catch me anytime, day or night. If you can ping me and I'm available, it's good. And one of the beautiful things about running class remotely is, and by the way, thank you, Rick. We're going to come back to the book. We're going to come back to the book, but thanks, Rick, for dropping those because it is coming up. I'm going to change this picture because there's now, as of December, a second edition, which I didn't know about, but I'd prefer to use that one. And I think we get our books, O'Reilly books, I think we can get. I want to talk through it. We can get that. Do we get that free? I'm faculty, so I have a different view in than you guys, but do you get the O'Reilly books through campus for free, the online? I just interrupted myself. I know that, but I realized this was an important topic. Do you know, Rick, and everybody else? I don't know if you have to buy those or if you can get them if there's like a license that comes through the university for the O'Reilly books. So
Loading, I'll let you know once it loads what I see. But
what's that, Steve?
But I'm loading it right now to see if I can get access to it.
Okay.
But it's in service unavailable, so I'll find out why that is, and I'll let you know.
And let's noodle on that because that's one I wanted. That is absolutely a topic I wanted to get to in terms of just kind of housekeeping to get us started. You know. Okay, you're getting problems on both of those. Okay. But so let's come back to that. But if you guys want to noodle around, I have a link and I'll try to look at where my link is. Because again, as faculty, you know what I mean? I know that there's like certain licenses and stuff that may not apply right to the students. I don't know for sure. This one, okay, office hours. I do have a new office. I haven't moved into it yet. I'm not going to be there. Okay. You will not find me there during this semester. And then hopefully, you know what I mean? COVID will run its course. I will get vaccinated. And by fall, I hope we're back in person. That would be fabulous. Although I don't miss I don't miss driving to campus and fighting parking and all the rest of it. I want to just say this one, okay? This one is a little bit playful, but it's also just kind of true that please don't call me professor. And there's only one reason. Professor is not my is not my name. You know what I mean? And so if you call me professor, I will call you student, but that's only cute for so long, okay? And I know that some of you will be like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to call him professor, see what he does. And then I'm going to call you student, and that's going to be funny. And then we need to move on and get to calling each other our actual names, okay? And that can be whatever you want it to be. And for me, I really don't care what you call me, as long as it's modestly respectful and actually my name. Most students call me Dr. K. It's just Knutson's 3 syllables. Dr. K is just, easier. Professor K, extra syllables. My actual name is Chuck. You can call me Chuck. I really don't mind if you call me Chuck. Um, uh, my my aunt called me Charles, and you're welcome to try that as well. My grandpa called me Charlie, the only one that I ever allowed to do that. So, but no, seriously, if you can call me Dr. K or Chuck, those are probably my 2 preferred. And then I will, return that favor by calling you, first, second, or third Devin, for example, because one of our TAs is Devin. So we do have actually a triple Dev going down. Okay.
We had that issue in our 4450 class
Which
last
issue?
year. The multiple Devons, your TA and I were both in that class. So that's why he's the cool Devon. I'm the other Devon, if you remember
He's the
that
cool
from
Devin,
back
and you're
then.
so you're the other Devin with reference to our TA
From that,
Devin.
yeah.
Okay,
That was
gotcha.
what our distinguishing was last year when
Okay,
we had classes together.
nice. There was one class I think we had 5 Caleb's or something absurd. It wasn't even like a super common name. Um, uh, anyway, in my so there was a famous one group of friends where there were 2 Bobs, and they were both tall and skinny. But one was slightly taller and the other one was slightly skinnier, but they were both tall and skinny. So they called one Tall Bob and the other one Skinny Bob. So you can also run that game, right? Okay, and thanks for continuing for those of you, Eric and Rick and Devin, thanks for noodling on this O'Reilly book problem. But will you just do that for me? Just if you're comfortable calling me Chuck, do it. If you're comfortable calling me Dr. K, do it. But the only thing about professor, to me, it's like professor. It's like I don't know. You don't say it like that, but I'm just saying. It's just I don't like it. It's not my name. It's like a disconnected impersonal title. You know what I mean? If someone's just like you person, you human. You know what I mean? Anyway, do me a solid. Call me by something that's actually my name. Okay, now this is the picture. Now, by the way, the one that Rick posted, that's the new chapter cover, right? With this girl. I don't know. I like this one way better. This one we always derisively referred to as the Skater Chick book. You know what I mean? Because you got to admit, she definitely has a Skater Chick vibe. I don't think there's any question about it, including the bare feet. And I'm not saying she can't code, because I suspect she can. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's just a funky cover. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And so the new one, I actually grabbed that one. Actually, let me grab it over here, because there is my little login. There's the new cover. You know. Now I don't have a clever name for her at this point. You know what I mean? But she's got the goth book in her hands right there. She does have shoes on, as befitting a software professional. You know, and she does have a nerd chic that I think is fabulous. But I don't know, right? Um, but Skater Chick, it's like I don't even know like what that was even trying to be. You know, does that make? Are you with me on this? Does that make sense? So the burning question is getting access to this, and this is my online access. Once you get here, It's like, you know, there's the little table of contents and I don't know what it is, you know what I mean? But this is, flipping through the book. Now, okay, and I actually got, sorry, I got Devin, Cool Devin. Wait, nope, that's not Cool Devin. Cool Devin is still ghosting me. Um, Cool Devin's fired, maybe. You know what I mean? What can we do? We just maybe should we fire Cool Devin before we even start?
I can go back to being normal, Devin.
No, Devin's Devin, Cool Devin is fantastic. Okay, I love him and he's a great TA. Okay, so Eric, you said successfully accessing the website and signing in with your UVU email that you got access as well, and that's like without making a purchase and dropping the
Same.
coin on that, right?
Correct.
So where do you
Yeah, I
actually?
did.
What's the link? And same. Who was just talking?
Steven.
Yeah, Stephen. So you same thing.
Yeah, I got access to it a minute right now.
That is fabulous. Now, what I need to do is update the
I had to
picture.
actually Google it to get the link to work. I don't know why.
Okay, and do you have the link?
Yeah,
Do you have like a repaired
I
link?
just went to learning.o'reilly.com and then clicked the single sign-on option and just typed in my UVU email address
Okay.
and signed in that way, and it gives me full access to it.
Do you want to make?
That's
Do you
exactly.
want to drop the? Oh, you got it right there. You went through learning.o'reilly.com. Let's just drop a link in the chat just so it stands out. Kind of typographically. And I bet I did the same thing. I was fiddling with it in the middle of the night last night.
It looks like Rick edited one of his comments earlier to have the actual link as well.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. What I want to do is the kind of thing where we just drop only the link. There you go. There you go, Stephen. Usually it'll blow that up. You know what I mean? On Discord, it'll make it a little more prominent as a link. Is what I'm kind of going for. But what I'll do is I will add that into the canvas like right after class, and then everybody should have that. So you don't need to. That's beautiful. You don't need to buy a book and pay the cash for that. And frankly, what I've discovered is that the online version here. Hang on, is there a table of contents here? Where is my table?
You got to click at the middle on the top.
Right there. All right, there we go. Yeah, if you go to like chapter 1 here, right? One of the things you get is you get color. You've got better typographical offset on the headings. It just flows. And let me talk about the book for just a second. This is a funky book, okay? It is a very funky book. But this to me is here's my original, book, and it's all black and white because paper, you know. And so this is actually quite a bit easier. And when it gets to like, those are graphics, so you can't just copy and paste. You can get the code elsewhere as well from the publisher site, which I need to also drop a link to that. And I think it might be a link in the readings as well in the book where it'll tell you where to get the code, saving you having to type that. But if you'll look around, and again, we need to it'd be good to drop that into the syllabus because somewhere here it'll actually say where to go get code. And I don't remember. What I tend to like to do when I'm learning is I tend to prefer actually typing the code, even if I'm retyping it, unless it's vast. If it's really, really vast, then that's one thing. But one of the reasons that I do that is there's there's just something about having your hands on the keyboard and like I'm putting this in. It's a little like hello world. If it's just sitting there and you go click run and that's all you did, it's a slightly different cognitive process than if you typed in okay. You know what I mean? It passes through your head more if you're the one typing it. So the reason I don't know off the top of my head where to go get that stuff That's why. I tend to type it myself. Okay, so what I want to say about the book, a brain-friendly guide, I agree with that. But here's the thing. The way this book is set up, most books, textbooks, are set up as kind of like, it's kind of encyclopedic, you know what I mean? Here's the chapter, this is the stuff, and it's like just the facts. And that's fine if you're a just the facts kind of learner. Most people actually are not. And context becomes really, really critical when you're trying to learn. So what these guys have done in this Head First series, I guess, this was my first exposure to that series. But if I go back to Welcome to Design Patterns chapter, it's a little corny. It's a little corny, you know what I mean, with the cartoons and you know. But here's my plea to you. Number one, we're going to go through the whole book. We're going to go through all of these things. Mostly it's going to be kind of like a pass fail, like just do it. Do what the book invites you to do. Give us your code. Unless you're pulling some really weird stunt, you're going to get the points. It's very much an experiential class, okay? And then there'll be accountability on the exams, right? But the biggest problem with this book is also its greatest strength, which is you kind of need to treat every chapter like a movie that you're going to watch. Okay? Think of this as a series on Netflix with 14 episodes, and you have to watch the episode of every chapter. So when you go chapter 1, look at these people, read the bubble, okay? Read it. And I think there's even isn't there like an audio read to you if you prefer that as a way of, if that a better way for you to digest? And when you get down to it, stop, look at the code, understand what it's doing. Okay. And now go here and okay, read the bubble again, because that's what this guy's trying to do. Oh, I get it now. Here's what's happening. Some UML right there. And, but some stuff happened. It's trying to get you through a context, right? And then there are these parts like sharpen your pencil. Every time there's a sharpen your pencil, it's part of the assignment that you're going to do. You're going to actually do it. And we have little quizzes set up. But again, they're really mostly kind of pass fail kinds of quizzes. If you just do it, look at this thing, think about it, check the ones you want to check. You have the ability to mail it in and be a doof. If you want to be like, blah, 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 I don't care, whatever. I'm not going to optimize the class to you. Okay. And I think mostly that person is very much, a small minority of the population. But anyway, I'm just saying, read it, go through it, take a little time and use this as every chapter is a walkthrough, read it, let it kind of, soak in a little bit. And then there's a point where, I don't know if chapter 1 has it. I know chapter 2 does. For example, it's here's some stuff. We're going to do some code. When you start to see code like that, where are we at? Right? Let me blow that up a little bit. You start to see code, type that code. Pull up your Java thing. It's all Java, by the way. And yeah, you need to do it. I want you to do it in Java, because if you can prove to me that you're a fluent Java programmer already and you want to do it in something you're weak at, then I'm okay. If you want to do it in C++ or C# because that's what you're strong at, not okay. I do want you to have, it's arbitrary and I get that, but I do want you to have the Java experience. And there'll be other opportunities where you'll do certain things in Java, but I think this is a good opportunity. Anyway, as you get to code, type the code, do it. Then right here, type and compile the duck class below. That's going to be part of your assignment. Okay. So there's an assignment. There's a set of assignments called Goff assignments. There are 14 of them. Each one is basically just giving you the opportunity to say, yeah, I did it. I typed the code and I compiled it and I ran it. and then you have that experience of doing these things. Sometimes there's code you need to write. Sometimes the code's given to you and you're just trying to use it, and play with it a little bit. Okay. But if you treat every one of these like an episode on, of a series on Netflix, then I think you'll have a good experience with it. If you're trying to just like, tell me what to do, and you're like standing there with your Napoleon face, if you're in that, tell me what to do, this is dumb, you're wasting my time, then you're going to have a bad experience. The book is what the book is. The book preceded me, but I like it. And so I'm okay with it. And so if you want to get your Napoleon face on, then that's just on you. You got to work through that. Okay. But I'm telling you that if you just give it a little soak time and walk through it and let it soak in, you'll actually learn a lot. And it'll be, I think it'll be a good experience for you. So, okay, how are we doing? We got 25 more minutes. Again, hopefully this is helpful so far, as we're trying to walk through and orient you to what in the crap we're doing here. Okay, let me talk about grading. Attendance is 14%. Now, the way and part of the reason for that is, look, it is an experiential class. And so just being here and being part of it, being live, being able to drop a comment, in my experience doing this on Discord now for a little less than a year, since spring break, right? It was when I pivoted to Discord. And I mostly did that, by the way, because I figured that everything that was sort of canonical and sanctioned was going to break badly for the rest of that semester. And honestly, that's why I went to Discord and YouTube and OBS, which is my streaming software. But my experience has been that probably 80% of the students will, over the course of a given few weeks, participate actively either in the comments, in the general text chat, or via voice, in pretty big sections as well. So again, I beg you, be engaged and be interactive. But this is important, okay? And this will not be reflected accurately in Canvas. I'm trying to see if I can find a way to do this. Every time you attend class, you pick up 0.5% of your overall grade. There are 28 class periods where we are here, okay? I think that's right. It's probably not perfectly right, because I think there were a couple of times that we took off for a couple of reasons. I'll figure this out. But even on those days when we just give you that, you know what I mean? But the key is, whenever you miss, you drop 2%. So if you miss 7 times, you lost all 14%. Okay? So it is a disproportionately penalized for missing, but just show up whatever with a vital sign, and you're rocking 14% of the class just for sitting there and listening. And way better if you're participating. Okay? All right, everybody understand that? You drop 2%. So by the time you miss 4 classes, you cannot get an A in the class. Right? Miss 5, and assuming you don't do 100% on everything else, you can't get an A minus. It drops off pretty fast. Okay, cool. There's some readings, and I'll show you the assignments. There's some small projects. Right now, the small projects they're not on the schedule, and they're not in Canvas yet, because that was kind of what we got up to as we were doing trying to crank everything through the night last night. One other thing that relates to the current state. This is the 3rd time I've taught this here at UVU, and I've been teaching for a long time in different scenarios. Literally back to the 80s was when I was first teaching professionally, and as a professor since the late 90s. and at UVU for 3. This is my 3rd year. This is the 3rd time. It's always a work in progress. To me, every class I ever teach is a work in progress, which means if you see, something that's like goofy or stupid or could be better or a mistake or whatever, man, I really want to know. And a lot of times, sometimes there's a lot of classes for which the best students, the best things in the class popped out of students, where a student would go, hey, an idea just struck me. What do you think about that? Some of the very best ideas I've ever implemented have come out that way. So I really want you to feel like there's a work in progress here. And so what that means, though, is that some of it, I'm not, it was copied over from last year's, but some of it's still evolving. So the small projects, there are going to be 8 of them. Those are still evolving. Okay. Golf assignments, I already mentioned. I'll show you what that is. There's 14 golf assignments, 1 for each chapter. And there's 2 exams, and they are closed book, Canvas exam, Proctorio, apologies. And then at the very end, you can get 1% extra credit by doing the SRI. It helps. I'll give you a little speech when we get down to it, okay? Everybody cool with that? Let me see. Hold on really, really quick. Hang on. Apologize for this. It was just an urgent thing. All right. I think it was actually, sorry, it's just a text thing, but it was a follow-up doctor's appointment from the vertigo is what it was. Okay. And I think that at the time I had no idea when class was, and we set it up, and I think it's like for now or something. It's probably like 3:30 or something. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the class schedule. By the way, any questions so far? Anything? How are we doing on head count? 3,
Seems good,
6,
thanks.
9, 10, 11. Still 11. What's that?
I was just saying, seems good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Blake. Blake, you're
I have a
back.
question.
Wait, Blake, were you the one with the Wi-Fi problems? No, that was Braden. That was Braden, right? No?
I had
Sorry.
the audio problems, not the Wi-Fi ones. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who had a question?
Me, Aaron.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get an idea of like what the semester is going to look like for me, like with my other classes. Like, these small projects, or would you consider this like a pretty heavy like coding class?
Man, that's a really good question, Ron. I think that I don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, the biggest code factor is when you're going through, the patterns book, and a lot of
And
codes
just
give
kind
you.
of replicating those little snippets
Yeah,
they have.
that's right. Or you might even be building. There might be some times when you're writing some stuff that's kind of your own, but it's not. That's really more about learning the patterns, and maybe learning a little more about Java, and getting that code to work. But then when you do the small projects, they are not coding projects. They're going to be doing things like go find a state machine out in nature, and thoroughly document it, and
Okay.
build a diagram in UML. You know what I mean? Those are going to be way more about design as design, and a lot less about code. So yeah, no,
Okay.
I don't think it's code heavy in the sense of like what's Wellborn's architecture class. The one, I don't know the number. You know the class, right? Which is a really, really great class,
It's
and
4380.
a lot of code. 4380, right? And the compiler, a lot of code. So it's not like that. It's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet, man. Any other questions?
What are the exams like?
Oh, you're gonna suffer the pains of hell, pretty much. That's my goal. I'm being facetious. Well, maybe not. Your mileage may vary. I tend to really like sort of short answer exams. And the reason is because if I say something like, you know, give me the gist, tell me the gist of the strategy pattern. Why would you ever use it? That's the kind of questions I would ask. And I'm looking for you to write a little paragraph, write a little like, okay, yeah, that here's what it does. Because if you can express it and if you can explain it, then you understand it, you know? If you don't understand it, you sure as hell can't explain it. You know what I mean? That's a given. You might be able to guess on a multiple choice. You might be able to fake it on matching or true false, or you know what I mean? Or drop the right buzzwords, into the right spots. But I do a lot of, here's a thing we talked about. Like one of the things we're going to do, maybe Wednesday, maybe next week. We're going to read a story together called Take This Fish and Look at It, right? And I'm going to ask you, one of the questions I will ask you is, what does the fish story have to do with anything? And the question will basically be that. And then if you're like, fishing is really important to the world's economy, you know what I mean? If you have no idea and you've not thought about it, you're gonna suffer real fast. But if you've given it any thought at all, it's not going to be a hard question, you know? So it's you know what I mean? It's more that kind of thing. I tend to get away from in these kinds of classes. 2810, yeah, you do need to know how to negate a number in two's complement notation. And there's a specific bit pattern that is going to be correct. You know what I mean? And that's pretty, you know, pedantic and detailed, and that's the way that is, right? But in a class like this where I'm trying to help you to understand and give some thought to design both inside the code and outside the code, the things you're learning and experiencing to me are far more important, and the best way to evoke that and to see how well you've internalized it is just to ask you questions. And then the other thing I will always do is give you a study sheet, and it's going to be a superset of all the questions on the exam. So if there's going to be 10 questions on the exam, the study sheet might be 20 or 30. But the exam is kind of in there. You know what I mean? So if you really do, and if you never thought about it until you got that sheet in front of you, you're also screwed. You know what I mean? But if you've been thinking about it and engaged and going through, what we can now no longer call the Skater Chick book, and you've been engaged and your brain's on, you know what I mean, through this process. And then you get that thing, you're like, yeah, these are the things I really do care about. And I don't want to turn that into a guessing game, like, oh crap, I guessed wrong. And so I flunked the class. I want
Plus,
you to
the
know what I think
fish
is
story
important.
is super memorable.
Say that again, Eric.
The fish story is super memorable.
If you've been there, yeah, it should be. Yeah. I've gotten some creative answers about the fish story. Later on, we're going to talk about squeaking doors and shiny objects. And some of you, and I'm going to ask you about that on exams. These are just Dr. K's terms. And some of you will literally talk about, I like this one thing because it's shiny. And I'm just going to be like, there is no forgiveness, man. Yeah. And you'll know why before we get there. We'll talk about it. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say about office hours. Office hours. I started talking about they, them. Them. They are very mean to me, and they demand that I have office hours posted. Now, I'll tell you what I hate about that, okay? I really dislike it because um, posted office hours, for the most part, are a waste of the professor's time, and mostly nobody else's. Because we want to make sure you're available to students, and they talk like that when they say it. Not Terry. Terry's amazing, but others up the chain, they talk like that. I think in my mind they do. So I realized last semester when I was on faculty at BYU for 15 years. All of my stuff was just, all of my office hours were by appointment. And it wasn't that hard to get a hold of me. Just ping me, let me know. And here was like, nope, no by appointment. You got to give us hours. And I'm like, okay, what are the range of hours? And they're like 8 a.m. to 5 or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, sweet, easy, 8 a.m. because nobody's up, including me. I mean, no, I'm not up half the time. You know what I mean? But you aren't either. So it's all good. And then guess what? You can ping, if I'm on Discord and you see me and it's 2 in the morning, you're just, and you have a question, hit me up. Just DM me, yo, Dr. K, you got a second? And if I have a second, I'll be like, yeah. And you can hit me like anytime, day or night, that you can just see me on, just DM me on Discord, and I'm happy to jump on chat. We can text exchange, we can jump on a voice chat, we can do, screen share stuff if we need to, jump on video chat if we feel like it. It's super flex, okay? So for me, Discord is the ultimate universal office hours. Catch me anytime, all the time, and I'll be available, okay? I'm not offended by you hitting me up, at odd hours, okay? If you hit me up for an 8 a.m. office hours, we both know it's because you're still up, right? So it almost never happens. So I am super loose. Just understand that I'm super loose about the whole 8 a.m. idea. Okay. But they make me do it. So that's what I do for official. And I just really don't expect anybody to track me down there. But I will also be available at 1 a.m. So if I happen to be up. Okay. Cool with that. If anybody's shocked and offended that I would be so flippant in the face of an apparent policy, then just whatever, get over it. And I'm okay. I'm okay with it. The truth is, just understand, really, truly, it's by appointment, and that appointment is pretty easy to come by when it's getting me. By the way, back in the days when we used to sit in brick and mortar buildings, right? You'd have office hours, and you're like, I got to get back. I can't go to lunch with somebody because I got to get back for office hours. And then you'd go get back at office hours. It's 1 o'clock, and then you'd like sit in your dumb office. You don't dare get into anything, or you don't want to drop in and get some flow going, because once you got flow, then the door's going to be a knock on the door. So it's just wasted. It's wasted time. Okay. Here we go. Here's how we're going to do this thing. And then I'm going to pivot over to do a quick schedule cover, 337. We'll go through this on Wednesday. I have a lecture. I have lectures. On Wednesday, we'll kind of hit that and actually kind of dive in and tell you a little more about myself, a little more about this whole field of patterns, and give you a little more of a feel for why I care a lot about it, and really, in essence, why I'm teaching this thing. But today's kind of introduction. So what I've got going here, I hope these colors are working for you. I tried to go, hang on a second, decent visuals given the color options, okay? And some decent separation. So every week, this is a week, right? The 11th and the 13th. There's a Monday and a Wednesday. If there are readings, now these are readings that are not the Goff. We got to come up with a nickname for that book. I don't know. But the Goff assignment, that's these. So Goff assignment 1 is chapter 1. There's the title of the chapter, and then there's the due date on it right there, okay? It's also in the assignments with the due date, but I tried to put it there so you can see the due date. If you see reading, like reading 1, there's 5 of them, I think. Reading 2, reading 3, reading 4, and reading 5 is actually a video. Just watch that video. And there's only 5 of those readings. They're just extra stuff that's not from the Head First book, okay? And all the other stuff is kind of locked inside here on this Goff assignment 1 Golf assignment 2. Okay. The other thing that I've done, every reading, there's a link to it right there. So you can go to the schedule ought to be like your master, console. All the readings you can get to in there. They're also over here in the files if you just go looking, but I click to every single one of the readings, right? So every one of the readings or external, like that's an external article, that's a PDF, that's a video out on YouTube, but the links are always there. Right there, like reading 5, if I look at that, if I click it, it'll take you actually to the reading assignment, to the assignment. Okay. Same thing with like Goth assignment. Let me show you this real quick. It'll be really clear once you're rolling, but if I click on Goth assignment 1, it takes you over to this. Now I get a different view. Okay. I'm going to do, where's the, no, let me just do, there's the preview. This is what you'll see over there. All you're really doing is just do the whole chapter, walk through it, do everything. But what you're going to see when you get into the assignment part that you do is like right here, read through chapter 1. As you read, do these things. There's something you got to do. Here's some spots, right? Just like an online quiz, right? These are just directly pulled. The text is directly pulled from the book, right? And then you drop any code that you did. Even if you just like copied their code and ran it, upload your code. Okay. You always any code you did, you upload your code. And then you just tell us how much of that chapter you read. You got through it. That's it. And then when you're done, you submit. And by the way this thing works, you can start it. And as long as you don't submit, you can come back to it. You know what I mean? I would still get it all ready and then like drop it in and go just in case Canvas does something stupid. Okay. Is that cool? That's new as of middle of the night. Tim was the mastermind of that. And so I like that a lot. And then what you can kind of see when you get over here into the assignments, we control these attendance assignments. Okay. But that's where we mark that. These are the Goff assignments. 4 of them are published. And then 5 through 14, we just need to go through the book. And we'll have that done probably within the week. But we're only worrying about assignment 1 right now. Okay, those are the Goff assignments. Those are the reading assignments. This stuff here is the stuff, the homework. Don't worry about that. That's all small projects, raw material, and that's all exams. So, all right, man, let's see. So that is how we roll. Couple of quick calendar things to just keep in mind. There is no class next Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Now, Wednesday the 3rd and Monday the 8th, I am actually on that Wednesday the 3rd, I'm actually undergoing back surgery. Yeah, spinal fusion. I'm calling it we'll just call it the spinal frontier. And I just decided, given that, get yourself started up, it's good. It starts a little heavy. And so it's just kind of catch-up days. Just use them as catch-up days. But these are like Dr. K on powerful narcotics days. Okay. And then supposedly, from everything I understand, I'm going to be back like a boss. This is not going to end well, right? But I'm going to be back like a boss with a fused spine 9 days later. It's only 2 vertebrae in my spine. Let's be fair. And if we have to, there are others who can do that lecture. Then it's President's Day, aka Washington and Lincoln Day. So if we have to, we can do something on Wednesday about that particular lecture. All right, is that cool? So just so you know that I've got that coming up, and that's why I am out of the office. So from that Wednesday to this Monday, or to that Wednesday, that week, I'm not going to be super available, but the TAs will be. I knocked off a class for the midterm, right? Just knocked off a class for a midterm, so that there'll be like a day anytime in this day that you can do the midterm kind of thing, since it'll be online. We got spring break. Yay, hooray for spring break. And that's it. And basically, as far as exams are concerned, the final is really just like midterm 2. It's really like just the second half midterm, which I'll probably rename it as that. Okay, that's the schedule madness. Is that cool? Let me see. Yeah, let me tell you what we're doing. Okay, so Aaron, what's the yikes? I want to understand the yikes. Here's what we're doing for
It's about your
attendance.
spine.
What's that?
It was about your spine, is what he
Oh, my
said.
Yeah, it was
spine.
about your
Oh,
back
gotta get.
surgery.
Yeah, I didn't catch it in real time. Yeah, man, no, serious yikes. Got to pick up some hardware because last summer I had fusion in my neck. I'd gotten in an accident on my way to campus. Somebody rear-ended me in January, and then I had no feeling in like both of my arms for 6 months, waiting on surgery. So this is
I
not
remember when that accident happened.
Do you remember that? It was like,
Yeah, I was in your class at that point.
it was like 9 o'clock class, I think, or 8. Anyway, I was driving, got rear-ended. See, that's why it's safer to just stay in the home office. No, yeah, it is. Thank you, Aaron. It is a yikes, and cut me. That's all I got to say. But my neck has been great. I mean, everything's back. I can play guitar again. I can play my drums. Everything's great. So I'm like, double down, man. Let's go bigger vertebrae. Okay, here's the thing, Steven. Here's what I want you guys to do. If you would please, before we're going, we're about out of time. There's a text channel called Real Names. Okay, and what we'd like you to do now, right now, there's again 3, 6, 9. There's only 11. So the other 2 that aren't in here right now, get on Discord, jump in and do this. All you have to do is go to the Real Names text channel and literally just go there and just type your first and last name. Now, it doesn't show up. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Devin. It does not show up on YouTube. And what happens is we use that to create a mapping between your Discord name. You're going to love this. Okay, you're going to love it. Or maybe you won't. We're going to do a map. This allows us to create a mapping between your nickname in this channel and your actual name. You're in real life. And then Devin the Cool has actually created a cool little bot. It is up there if you look on the membership, whatever you want to call that, in the whatever. There's a bot in the active. Sorry, the thing's in the way. Where am I?
Skater
Online.
chick?
Yeah, Skater Chick is a bot. Okay, so that is a bot. We named it after the Skater Chick. That was written by Devin, and what it does is during the time that class is running, from 2:30 to 3:45, it actually, because it has this mapping function, we know who's who. It's also running. It just runs nonstop on a Raspberry Pi, so it just runs as a little external server, and it just sees when you came into the voice channel and when you left for everybody that joins the voice channel. And if you know what I mean, and if something came up and you're excused, and you know what I'm saying, then you let us know, and then it's all good. But otherwise, we can then just auto grade the attendance based upon presence in the voice channel.
So if
Cool,
I
right?
change my name to Big Steve, like the other Big Steve, and he shows up, then we're both covered, right?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I think he's actually. I think the initial cut actually pulls your nickname plus the little hash number, so that you still get the unique ID.
Oh, darn.
I think. But Devin did that over the
Right.
break. Cool Devin did that over the break because it was just like nagging at him, and anyway, I think it's incredibly tight, really, really cool. And I think it's all running. I think it's all Python, and it just runs out there and spins all the time. So,
So the bot, does it keep track of like a percentage that you go into class, or just when you enter, when you exit, and it just says if you were in the class, you're there?
it gives us raw data, and then we can compute whatever we feel like. So we can tell what time somebody comes in, what time they leave. Because I mean, there's kind of like the famous like chronic show up halfway through. Well, okay, you flipped the bit, but where's that point where you know what I mean, where you're just kind of gaming it.
So what you're saying is I can just leave myself in the voice channel for the rest of the semester.
For the rest of the semester, that's right, and essentially, that's right. Create a special Discord account only for this class that lives constantly in the voice channel. But no, it's funny. I know we got to go, but in 305G, we were doing some writing workshops. Like, okay, everybody pile out, and everybody piles out to these other text/voice channels, right? To do writing workshop stuff. And then there was just like one student who's not in this class, so I'm not going to name the individual, of course. But anyway, there was one student, and it's like there in the voice channel was like only this one name, and that's like away from keyboard, and for the whole rest of the class, it was like you're like, you're so busted, you know. But yeah, no, you can game it, man. You can even make a chat bot of your own that randomly just drops comments and memes and gifs into the general text channel and create the illusion. Do whatever you want, man. You're on your own on this thing. I'm like I said before, I don't micromanage to edge case behavior. We're here to have a cool experience, and that's all I want to do, more than anything. So, all right. Okay. Any last questions before we bid adieu until Wednesday? And my last comment is 13 students is very small. If you're gone, you will be missed. And I mean that both in the sense of we will know it, but I mean more importantly, if we can get to that feeling of kind of openness where everybody can kick in, I'd love to see a lot more, unmuted mics with engagement. But that's the only way I can do this is with engagement, with people kicking in. So if it's not your style, you know, okay, yeah, you don't need any other books, Sam. No other books besides the second edition of the Skater Check, which yet to be named. I don't know, Nerd Chic. I think maybe, which almost sounds like Nerd Chick, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hey, Sam, all good, man. And if you don't have a mic on the setup, what we can do is just drop them in the general text. I try to keep an eye on that as well when there's chat going on there, and I'll just read it, into the flow. So that's easy peasy, man. Blake, you're welcome. I am also. The cool thing about this is with 13 of us, 14, of us, plus Devin and Tim, we can have a blast. We can really have a blast. And maybe by the end of the semester, we can all it's so small, maybe we can pile out to Nico's for some pizza. If I've had a vaccination by then. Let's think about that. Okay. Let's think about some Nico's down the stretch. Small class, you can pull that off. The librarian.
Oh.
The librarian. Okay, that might work. Okay, go ahead. What? Go, Eric.
I gotta ask. Did you ever try that Italian place in Provo on Center Street I told you about last year?
No. I am so.
Oh.
Tell me the name of it again. You can tell I remembered it because I'm asking you for the name again. Now, what was it called again?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm blanking on the name right now myself.
No, oh man. Oh, no, drop in the
Apparently,
chat.
it wasn't that good.
Apparently, not that memorable. No,
drop it was La Dolce Vita.
Oh no, La Dolce Vita. Okay, no, that's not the one you mentioned, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Well, then I must have misunderstood you because my first trip to La Dolce Vita was in 1982. Literally.
Oh, okay. Because yeah,
Maybe
that's
no,
like my favorite
83,
place.
83, and it had just opened. When you said it, either you said a different name or I misunderstood what you said. But no, absolutely,
Possible.
I absolutely know the place. Yeah, the tortellini is great. The tortellini
I
alla
don't think I tried
panna.
anything there that wasn't great.
It's great. It's great. La Dolce Vita, right around the corner from Los Hermanos now. Yeah, man. Okay. In fact, let's drop a link in there and a little shout out for Nico's and La Dolce Vita, and then we'll call it good. I'm gonna drop out though, everybody, and see if I can still do my doctor's appointment or something. So anyway, I think it's gonna be great. I think we're gonna have a great semester. Small group means we can have a party. That is really a great thing. So I'm looking forward to it. The material is cool. It's very cool material.
I wonder if the discussion originally was about pizza rather than Italian food. If that was the case, then it would have been I suggested 2 Jacks in Provo.
No, but I would have remembered Two Jacks. And Two Jacks is good for crappy American pizza.
Well, yeah, that's true. Mostly, I just go there for the cheese sticks.
Nice. All right, I'm going to drop out because I got to go, I don't know, get 2810 Canvas class up and get on with this life here. Anyway, it's great to be all together, and I'm going to drop off the YouTube thing right now.